Behold, my glorious supporter isn't that right, has waited like 2 months for me to make this parlay about moddable stances in Warframe. I'm really sorry. I could have sworn I made this. I know exactly what I want to say to an uncanny degree. My girlfriend even thinks I discussed it with her briefly. If anybody has ever heard me talk about this for my sanity, please tell me, like comment that I have totally done this before, but I haven't, or at least not to your satisfaction, and that's good enough for me. I'm very sorry for the wait. Let's talk about it. Moddable stances in Warframe. Interesting. Yeah, so first of all, there are kind of two things we need to discuss here. The first one is about the straightforward implementation of this idea, and the second one is about theorizing like what it could be. Straightforwardly, I think moddable stances in the form that occurs to me are a bad idea in the current version of Warframe, but as an idea for a theoretical version of Warframe, I think it's really interesting. So we're going to discuss both. First, we'll briefly discuss the current version of the game. Why do I think moddable stances would be a bad idea? What do I mean by moddable stances? There's a game I played a while ago called Remember Me, and it has this mechanic for its melee combat, which is martial arts, where basically enemies, or is it when you level up? Or maybe you find them in the world. Anyway, might as well be like as loot, you can get, they're called presents, and they're attacks in combos. So it's like you could get like a certain kind of kick, and the kick can have a damage multiplier or like slow enemies or what I forget exactly, or like life steal, for example. It's an attack that could be part of a combo that has like some various modifiers, right? A certain amount of damage, certain other effects. And you get those as loot, and then you can build them into combos with various types of inputs. It's cool. Definitely doesn't do a whole lot for that game because the game is not all that focused on a ton of combat, and it's very easy to just build healing combos and go through the whole game that way. I don't overly recommend that game, by the way. I don't think it was very good. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. That was a good system that I remember thinking, yeah, this would be good in some other game that is not this, that would really use this system more. Also, there need to be more different kinds of these things, I think. There was only like 3 or 4 kinds, probably only 3. Anyway, I think the most straightforward way to make moddable stances in Warframe would be to make every combo on every stance for every weapon into a mod. So right now, most weapons in Warframe have multiple stance mods. So you have options for like what set of combos. So instead of making it what set of combos that you pick, we're going to convert the system into choosing which combos for that weapon you pick. So every weapon still has the same combos. What we're changing is that you can choose what combination of the combos available for that weapon you could have. I think that that would be bad in the current version of the game. The reason it would be bad, in my opinion, is that there aren't enough good combos for most weapons. In fact, I think almost all weapons. You could pretty comfortably fit every good combo onto the same build. So it would actually kind of reduce diversity. There are some types of weapons where there are a few different combos, and one combo is like half the combos are bad. One stance. I keep saying combo. 2 stances for a given type of weapon. One stance, half the combos are bad, but the other half are good at this thing, and the other stance, half the combos are bad, but the other half are good at this other thing. So if you could mod them freely, if you could mix and match the combos, you would just use those 4 combos, and that one final result would be good at everything. There would be no reason to pick the other ones. So in the current version of Warframe, I don't think that's good. It would just reduce diversity, but it wouldn't really make the game like actually overall worse, because, and you could argue it could make it better because you'd be increasing the density of actually good choices when attacking, right? But it wouldn't make modding more interesting. It would make modding a little less interesting. That's not the only thing that's important. But you did ask about modding your own stances. I think that without doing anything else, that would be actually kind of worse for modding. So let's talk about how it could be better. First of all, you might be noticing that there's kind of a weird, kind of self-defeating thing here where it's like, okay, well, Zandy, you're saying that there aren't enough good combos, but there just should be enough good combos. Like, what if you just buff all the combos and then do this? Then it's good, right? Well, there's still a disadvantage. The main disadvantage I see is, we're going to imagine the interface. probably what we would get is you, instead of a stance mod, where you put in a stance mod, you click that and then you get, let's say, 4 mod slots for combo mods for, let's say, hammers, right? You get one, they're going to be bound to various, types of key presses. So you get a forward combo, a neutral combo, a back combo, and a hold combo. Let's say it's like that. Most stances are like that. And then you'll put them in where you like. At the moment, Warframe stances have been redesigned in such a way that almost all of the time, the forward combo is like a forward movement combo. The back combo is a focus damage combo. The hold combo is some kind of tech thing. And the neutral combo makes you not move. You stay in place. A lot of them have OK cleave, for example. That is a good system. It didn't used to be like that, but as of Melee 3.0, maybe like a year ago, it is like that. And that it's pretty good. That's nice. It means that the game is really intuitive. If you push forward and you're melee attacking, you go forward while melee attacking. In general, it depends on the stance, of course. So making moddable stances, even assuming all the stances are good, moddable combos, I'm going to mess that up more times. We're just strap in, would have the disadvantage that you could make stances that are less intuitive. This is kind of a weird game design property where sometimes it's we could let players make things work differently, but if they make them work any way other than the way we set up, they're at least arguably worse off. There's something worse about it, And so for all but advanced players, I would argue this is still mostly worse because the intuitiveness of the melee system is more important than every combo being the best possible combo, The benefit of that would probably be best fulfilled by leaving combos as stances put together. You can't pick the combos, you just pick the stance, and then just buffing all the combos. You should just buff the combos but not make them moddable. So what is better about allowing us to mod for stances, mod combos, mod for combat? Okay, for goodness sakes. Anyway, mod combos specifically onto stances. Make our own stances, basically. Well, here's a thought. We could literally make our own stances. Rather than it being one or the other, how about we do both? How about there's some kind of advanced system by which you can make your own stance mod? It's still a stance mod, but you can mix and match combos. This reminds me of the Helmand system, basically. The Helmand system is a little dangerous for the reason I discussed about the whole thing where we optimize the combos, says Digital Extremes, so that they're intuitive. And if you go forward, you go forward. If you go backward, you don't move, or you go backward. So to fix that problem, what we can do is make it something that you really have to deliberately opt into. It's not just how the game innately works. With the Helmand system, for example, let's say you're playing Grendel. All 3 of Grendel's other abilities don't work if you get rid of his first ability. So you probably don't want to get rid of his first ability, but they let you do that because of reasons. And the way that does not damage the game, really, is that it's easy to undo, okay? And it's just gated, you can't just immediately do it. The game doesn't work like that at base. The game gives you a full, complete, curated system from the start, and then eventually, if you want to, if you put a lot of effort into doing so, you can then customize it yourself. The idea being, I would hope that you think quite a bit about what you're trying to do to your stance, in what way you're trying to modify it, if you're going to go to the trouble of dismantling what they already prepared. You know what I mean? The idea is, and the way the Helmand system is ideally you're looking for you have a better idea, a deliberately, specifically better idea. You think to yourself, oh, well, when I use a sword and shield, I really like that combo where you throw the shield and then it comes back and then you do the woogity woogity and go over there, and it's a really good movement combo. And I like that, but I don't feel like swords and shields have good enough focused combos. So, but maybe this other stance has one and I'd like to add that in. So you could, you have a clear vision in mind for this is how I want to play with the thing, rather than it being something where you need to go out of your way to finagle one together. And the developers probably have a better idea than you do off the bat. It's just of course, eventually maybe you'll come up with a specific thing you want. Does that make sense? So the idea here overall is to prevent players from needing to come up with the thing on their own all the time, but allowing them the option, I don't know how, to potentially mod their own stance if they really want to, and once they've already experienced the way that stances are normally structured. Maybe there could be notes. This is a thing Warframe hardly ever has anywhere, but they could do this. There's no reason they couldn't do it for other stuff too. There could be notes attached to the combos saying like a combo that moves you forward a lot with a lot of momentum and blah, 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 blah. So when players get access to however they're going to mod their own stance, they see, oh, the forward slot has a combo that moves you forward. That makes a lot of sense. I should stop waving my hand here because it's wigging out my camera's autofocus. Anyway, you get the idea. I think that could be cool. How would you do it? Like, what would be the interface? You could have a mod where you like click through the mod and then you can mod the mod. Could be something like that. I guess you could have, so for example, with the helmet system, if you swap off an exalted ability, then you don't have that exalted weapon to mod separately. Maybe this is how that works. So that is how this works. You put on a stance mod that is this special kind of stance mod, and then when that mod is equipped, below your melee weapon, there's a separate section where you can put in 4 combo mods, right? Or maybe the combos aren't even mods. They're just freely available from the stances you have. I think it'd be really weird if you had to farm combo or like there could be a process where you break a stance up into its combo mods, like you have to consume a second copy of the stance. I bet that's what they would do, which is fine, I guess. Some stances would be kind of nasty, but most of them are reasonably easy to get second copies of. So yeah, maybe something like that, you know, kind of modded, like a separately modded exalted weapon or something. It could be cool. I could see that actually being a thing that is done, potentially. I'm really curious to see how that might play into... There was some idea for like a rage mode, like something similar to channeling, being added to Melee as a sort of further thing. I kind of feel like they're maybe not going to do that, but who knows? Finally, I'm interested... I don't really have any thoughts about this, but just as a further discussion point, the melee weapons don't currently have an Exilus mod. They're just gun Exilus mods. Melee weapons don't have Exilus mods at the moment. Maybe they could, and that could have something to do with this. I don't know. One thing that occurred to me is that you could also have like differently moddable heavy attacks, or like the ability to select from a few heavy attacks potentially. Could be kind of cool. That could be its own separate thing, like aura mods and Exilus mods for Warframes. I don't know. Anyway, it's a cool idea. Again, thank you so much for your patience. I made you wait way too long to answer this question. I hope you could see I really had a lot to say about it. So I'm happy that I got back to it. Thank you for reminding me. Sometimes I take a little while on Parley. Sometimes I take a lot of while on Parley, but I don't intend to take 3 months. That's ridiculous. Thank you very much for your patience, understanding, and for your excellent question. I really enjoyed answering it. And yeah, I don't really recommend that one game I mentioned. Talk to you later.